controls.
Because what is it? We're only using this 30% of our brain, or 70% lies
Most
unconscious.
people only you have one brain, but you have two minds. You have the everyday conscious mind, which
Yes.
we're using now, and it's analytical. It analyzes everything. It's there so you can't be, you know, tricked into things. You can analyse danger, so you don't get in with the bears at the zoo. It can perform maybe 5 things at once, and that's pushing it. It starts getting really stressed, and it sleeps. Now, on the right side of the brain, you have what you call the subconscious, or some people call the unconscious, and it performs over 5 million functions a second. It never sleeps. It stores everything from the day you were born. It's your emotional centre, really. It controls your whole autonomic nervous system. It's been likened in clinical hypnosis to a 4-year-old child, and it doesn't analyse anything that you believe or that you tell yourself. So it can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And a lot of people that I have seen over the years, through their life, maybe traumas have happened, or they've a guilt complex or whatever, they beat themselves up constantly. They think they're worthless, or they let other people give them the perception that they're not as good as other people. And that part of the mind won't question that, and it thinks, okay, well, you never will achieve anything in your life. You don't deserve happiness. You know, even if you want to stop biting your nails, you have to believe in an unconscious level that you're worth having nice nails, or it won't happen. Smoking's a great example. I have a couple of friends, GPs. One's a consultant, and he smokes. And analytically, they know, they're very intelligent people, the damage that smoking does, but they will still light that cigarette up because the 4-year-old inside enjoys smoking.
Right.
It's a comfort seeker, it's a pleasure seeker. So I start with that part of the mind, and then I work backwards. Where to me, this is just my perception, a lot of people work with the rational mind for irrational behaviour. It doesn't exist there. You won't find it there. You must work with both sides. They're both important, but they must work together like a team. And I can get great results with athletes as well.
Well, you've had great success with a lot of sports stars. You've worked with big Martin Rogan. You worked with Estonians rugby club. You've worked with a lot of the Irish dancers, and you've worked with an Northern Ireland archery team. Now, I can understand you working with the rugby players, the boxers, and the Irish dancers, but the archery team, I mean, do you not just pull a string and let the bow go? Well, what sort of work do you do there?
Well, these guys probably shoot your eye out at 30 metres away. It's a sport that takes a lot of control, a lot of mental focus, and a lot of practice. It looks easy, but anything, when you go into it in great detail, there's a lot of skill involved. There's a lot of conditioning for the brain. We all have. There's 4 stages of learning, and for somebody to shoot for Northern Ireland, they have to be at archery like the 4th stage of learning. Most people, especially adults, give up at the 1st stage, which is conscious incompetence. That's when you're learning something new. You have to really think about it. It's frustrating, and you feel a bit dyslexic, you know, whatever you're doing. Now, we've all went through that stage as children, learning, because everything that you're good at today, you have practiced more than anything else that you can do. So you're at the 4th stage, like the boxing. You wouldn't have to think when you get into a ring.
It's instinctive.
To get from stage 1 to stage 4, you're talking about 10,000 hours of practice.
Right.
Okay. Stage 2, between 100 and 100 hours of practice, which is conscious competence, where you know, you can do it well, but you still have to really think about it. It's not like riding a bicycle. There is a shortcut. Okay. There's not many shortcuts in life, but there is a bit of a shortcut, and that's working with the unconscious, because you can program it. And they've done loads of scientific research on this with athletes all around the world. And again, some people are open to it and some are not. It's up to the individual, the coach.
Well, you've had phenomenal success with boxer Marty Rogan. What was that like? You had him talking to the opponents, now you think you had him chasing after Audley Harrison.
Well,
tell me about that.
Martin has developed his own. Every athlete, I am working with racing drivers at the minute for the Northwest 200. Now, any sport, you have your physical training, you have your skill training, The
It's
mental...
a psychological side, a mental side. I know that.
Yeah.
Psychological warfare, especially through boxing, you know.
And I would work the same process with all sports, and with Martin, again, I just showed him how he could tap into these resources, the unconscious part of the mind, and I needed to look at some beliefs, because we have certain negative beliefs that we don't even know that they're there half the time. I'm trained to get them out and to break them down. The doctor that trained me in advanced medical hypnosis, he actually had worked for the CIA and all in the States, and his job was, you know, he specialised in breaking people's belief systems. So if I'm working with somebody, I want to find out what their limiting beliefs are. And a lot of these are housed in us through our parents and our peers we grew up with, and I have to break them down. And there's ways I can see how the thoughts are affecting their performance, their proprioception, their balance in the body, or their strength. And then it's replacing them with more empowering ones, and giving them an ABC of how to keep growing. How to, you know, don't set any limits. And like anybody, they will make their challenge look very big by making themselves small. It's usually a feeling that comes into the body first. We intuitively feel before we analytically work something out.
Well, tell me about that one you were saying to me earlier about the kids that would have posters in their bedrooms of Ricky Hatton and all the top stars.
Well, so I would do that with all the kids. Like when I was in Chicago, I had 40 kids. They were a mixture of Irish dancers and ice hockey players, and I asked them, you know, be honest, hands up here who's capable of being a world champion. I think I got one hand up. Now after the program, every hand in the hall goes up, and I know then I've installed new belief systems. So that'll change direction. Because as I said earlier, why train to win a fight or go for a certain title if you don't believe that you're capable of doing it? Yeah. So it's starting with changing their belief systems, and then they'll change their direction in life, whether in sport or careers, school.
And you told the kids, if they've got a photo of Ricky Hatton up, if they've got a big poster of Ricky Hatton up in their bedroom, take it down and put a poster of them up.
Put a picture of yourself up, because again, a lot of us are conditioned through society to look up to other people. There are heroes. That's okay when you're a child, but when you get older, you have to start looking up to yourself, because if you keep looking up to people all your life, you're always going to be down there. You have to become... I tell people, you know, I'm going to introduce you to a powerful side of you that you know, because a lot of people never get introduced to it, and they live and die here, and you know, they never know it exists. So I have methods of letting them experience that. And then when I say to them, I want you to become your own best friend, what I'm really saying is, I'm going to teach you how to be best friends with that part of your mind that controls your direction in life, and then you work with it. I'm giving you the tools to work with this for the rest of your life. You know?
I always remember when Steve Collins fought Chris Eubank. Steve Collins stated publicly that he had hired the services of a hypnotist to help him. And this really freaked Chris Eubank out. Chris Eubank, a year or two previously, had nearly killed Michael Watson in a fight, but he permanently injured Michael Watson. So once again, Steve Collins, it was all baloney, but it really threw Chris Eubank off, and that's psychological warfare. I can relate to that.
It's and in boxing, it's very important.
When I was in a clinch with a guy, I would have said to him, "Come on, break it up, referee, referee." And that was to let the guy know that I'm very fit and very strong. And sometimes I would have been just as tired as what he was. But it had a demoralising effect, and I could feel it. So that's all psychological warfare too.
The master of it was Muhammad Ali. He started all this stuff. I don't know if he knew what he was doing, but he started it all, really. And you look at George Foreman. George Foreman would have even said in his book, he said, I told people he didn't hurt me. He says he could have killed a man on the street if he'd have hit him. He was ripping or the heavy punch bags. He was ripping the seams in. He lifted Joe Frazier 2 feet in the air. He was awesome. And he knew that, and he felt that, and that's human confidence comes from human achievements. And people tell, you know, it was in the papers, it was in the news, other fighters were saying, if Big George hits you, he'd break your ribs, he'd kill you. That's his sense of achievement, his confidence. Muhammad Ali came along and made him doubt a belief he had. He says, George, you're not hitting me hard. You know, McGranny hits harder. Thought you were strong. Thought you were hard. You know, you're not getting tired.
And George was going to himself, this is all I have.
And he started thinking,
demoralised him.
You know, he started breaking down that
it's all
belief.
Psychological,
And he broke that down, and he got George to doubt himself. and that goes through the nervous system.